Hey everyone, it's Kellen Brower from RacerX, back again with another race examination video. I want to take a look at a couple things here from Foxborough that I caught in the highlights. And we're going to start off with Eli Tomac and Cooper Webb coming into the turn after the finish line jump a few laps in. So Tomac's tried to make a pass on Webb for the lead. Webb was able to get him back. Then they come into this corner. Anderson kind of pushes Tomac wide, and then Tomac stalls the bike. So I kind of wanted to break down a couple things with this because first off, we have the pass attempt, which is Anderson coming down the inside. And it looks like he's going to make some contact, but ultimately, no, they don't make contact. It's actually Tomac hitting Webb's rear wheel and kind of reacting to Anderson sliding up the inside that causes him to kind of make a little bit of a mistake. But then I want to key in on Tomac's hand here. So first off, he's trying to grab the clutch, so he takes his hand off the bars to grab the clutch. That's why he couldn't get it started right away. But then he's kind of off-centered in the rut right here. So you're going to see in just a moment, it looks like he's going to get the bike fired, pressing that electric start, gets the bike fired. And then he's actually going to kind of like dump the clutch a little bit. You're going to see his fingers like open up a little bit right there. And that's going to cause the bike to kick forward. So I just kind of wanted to highlight this because it's kind of cool to see even like the best riders in the world, when they have a situation where they're trying to rush and get the bike started, even they make like little minute mistakes like that where, he almost would have stalled it again had he dumped the clutch too much, let it out a little bit. It kind of lurched forward, but he's able to grab the clutch back in and pull it in. Now let's talk about Jason Anderson going to the race lead on Cooper Webb. And the reason I want to talk about this pass is because I'm just so fascinated with how these guys are able to do stuff like this in the whoops. So you're going to see Anderson coming in right here. His tire is going to hit right off of this whoop. And instead of kind of diving the tires back in and hitting the last few whoops, he's just going to ride the rear wheel on those two whoops and then downside the last whoop perfectly to land in transition and bust this triple into the corner. It's one of those things where these guys are so good and so methodical about it that he's probably done that 100 times or 1,000 times, and he's just used to doing it at this point, but it's still always incredible to me. And obviously Anderson went on to rather easily win the main event, a little bit of a challenge. But hey, we have another challenge right here. It is the Marvin Musquin fist bump challenge. He wants to fist bump Chase Sexton, but there's a couple of things at play here. There's going to be some monster girls walking across. You're going to see right here, Sexton's going to see, oh, Marv wants a fist bump, so he's going to stop. Marv's going to try to sneak a hand in here, has to back it up, and eventually results in a perfect little fist bump right there. Great success. And well done by Marvin to pull that one off. But Anderson looks back and he goes, hey, Marv, I would have liked a fist bump. It would have been cool if you gave me one, buddy, but you didn't. So I'm just going to take the trophy and move on.
I want to remind everybody that this video is presented by OnX Off-Road. Know where to go with the #1 off-road GPS app. Access 500,000 plus miles of trails and roads, open dates, and public lands. Download the OnX Off-Road app today.
Moving on to the 250 class, of course, the big story was Jett Lawrence trying to clinch the 250 East Championship. But off the start, it was pretty cool to see Cullen Park grabbing the whole shot. Bit of a rare defied air to see someone like that grab the whole shot in the main event. It was cool that he led a little bit, but Pierce Brown would eventually get around him. But here was a talking point that a lot of people still kind of are discussing late in the week is Jett Lawrence passing Austin Forkner. Now, this was for third place at the time. He kind of bumps Forkner off the track. Forkner re-enters the track and then passes Lawrence going into the next corner and would continue to stay ahead of them and then ahead of him, and he would stay that way for the rest of the race. So if we're looking at this pass attempt, first off, Lawrence is going to square the corner off very nicely, goes to block Forkner, and then they both have to come to a dead stop. So Forkner kind of jumps to the right side, kind of lands him off the track in the process. Now he slows down a little bit, then kind of speeds up, then really hammers it when he gets back on the track. Lawrence, having doubled it off the next jump, kind of has to check up coming into the next corner, and the door is still wide open with Forkner re-entering the track on the inside coming in the next corner. So he was going to just remake the pass, come up the inside, and get back around Lawrence. Well, he was off the track, and that's obviously one of the key talking points that people are frustrated about. So if we go to Rule 4.15I in the rulebook, a rider leaving the course may continue to race by properly re-entering the track at the closest safe point to where the rider left the course without gaining an advantage. What is gaining an advantage? Well, if the rider accelerates in an unsafe manner while off course or cuts part of the race course, the rider may be determined to have gained an advantage without gaining a position. It will be the duty of race direction to make the determination as to whether a rider gained an advantage by leaving the race course and re-entering. The penalty, of course, would be if he did actually make a pass, he would lose that position and another position because of that, but he did make a pass. So it's about, did he actually gain an advantage by leaving the race course? And he got bumped off the track. The unsafe manner part of it is the real catalyst here, which a lot of guys this year have been penalized for unsafe, speed off the racetrack, which Forkner, he did kind of grab a gear when he got back on, but he was pretty slow about it when he was actually off the racetrack. So a lot of gray area there, but I think in the end, basically Honda didn't want to protest because Lawrence won the title, and at the end of the day, it wasn't too big of a cut or an off-track excursion for Forkner. So I think cooler heads prevailed, and Forkner went on to win the race. But before Forkner went on to catch and pass Pierce Brown for the win, Brown was getting caught by RJ Hampshire for a while, and eventually they come together and Hampshire goes down. Classic lines coming together situation. Hampshire coming up the inside, thinks he's going to have a little bit of room, but Brown actually slid out on the outside and came back into the middle of the track. So Hampshire ends up going over the bars. I mean, look at how mangled that bike ended up as well. But Hampshire is able to continue on and finish the race inside of the top 10. But here's Forkner eventually catching up to Pierce Brown. Brown started making a couple mistakes late in the race, really hampered his chance at the race victory, and Forkner was able to slide on through. Lawrence would also get around Brown as well and start catching Forkner late in the race, but it was just a little bit too late in the end as Forkner slides down the inside and takes the win, his first win of the season, 12th of his career. And as mentioned, it's kind of a win-win for both, right? Forkner gets his win this season that shows that he's still got the speed, but Lawrence gets the title and it doesn't really need to, push the envelope to go for the race victory in the end. So they're both happy for each other, and that's a good sign for both of them because obviously they had an incident earlier this year that knocked Forkner out of competition with a broken collarbone. So Forkner gets the win, but Lawrence gets the title. And now we switch back to the West Coast this weekend in Denver.